People, Deluded, I'm back again. Quick one now, the season's done. It's done and dusted. We finished 8th. We won the FA Cup. We finished it on a high of sorts. Europa League, we exited it more earlier than we should have. So our season has been a bit mixed, to put it nicely. I say mixed because Arteta's been the one of the only positives in what's been a dead season. And he wasn't able to really turn things around. We could have still got top. Could have, would have, should have. Doesn't do anything. The facts are we missed out. Our game management is not the standard. Mathematically, we could have got top 4 or been in when he did take over, but a lot of these problems are long lasting, and I feel I have a lot of pride in Arteta. It remains to be seen as to whether he is the man long term to get us back to the top 4 and beyond, but I think he's earned the right to at least be backed until he shows people otherwise. For me, I'm happy with Arteta. He's come in. First thing I like about him is he's got confidence in his own ideas. I didn't think Emre had that in that. Obviously, he's a manager. He wanted to do things his own way, but he's changing too much. I like how Arteta has conviction in his own belief and his ideas, and he's able to convince others. You're seeing the scenes with the players and how much the players were happy after the FA Cup. You're seeing the moment with Gary O'Driscoll, I believe his name is, where he was going to leave and go to Liverpool. The medical staff, he said, believe in him. His ability to pull everyone together, and he made no secret of his intentions to do that. The minute he took over this club, he said fans, staff, everybody got to pull over. Obviously, with a degree of that, let's be serious, he knows the right things to say to fans, and a bit of it is good PR and things, but the bulk of it he's backing up his truth. I like how he pulls no punches in a respectful way in his press conferences. I like the conviction in his own ideas and the ability to show people enough evidence to fully buy into them. The players maybe not so much now, but when he came in, obviously as a new manager you're always going to see it, but there was an instant uplift. You're seeing more pressing, you're seeing better defensive kind of being switched on. We've still got a lot of problems. We've still got a lot of problems. The lack of concentration, the cheap goals we conceded while he's been here, it's still here. Next season, I'm looking more at Arteta as the reason to fix that now, because he's got a blah. There's been 2 managers before him. Gooner, the main one, Lumberg, the caretaker. The player's been fractured. It's not his team. It's not his squad. He's coming in mid-season and all of these other things. And for me, to a degree, not going to wash next season, but they're washing now. And he's had to work within that. And to considering how he was, I know the FA Cup in the grand scheme of things doesn't change our season, but would you have said we would beat City? We would beat Liverpool in the league, even if it means nothing. We'd beat Chelsea and go on, come from behind and go off and win the FA Cup. I'd say no. And I think that's the one bright spark. And he's shown that he's got something to believe in. And I think the best thing is, the main concern, rightly so, some people had, is that he's never coached before. Let alone take this job, which is at its most important time in a lot of Arsenal fans' history. Because I'm 25, I've only seen Wenger. You've seen where our team is. We're not what Arsenal used to even get bantered for during the Emirates era of being a consistent top 4 side. So you would want someone like a Klopp or a Pep or someone like that, of course. But Arteta's shown that, that's irrelevant now, because he knows what he's doing. He has ability in his own ideas. So like I said, conviction in his own ideas, the ability to convince others. Off-field, pulling everyone in the right direction. His man management, he's shown it with the young players. He's shown it, the best example for me, Granit Xhaka. Ceballos, because Ceballos weren't getting in the team first and foremost when Arteta was here. Since the turn of the year, he's bucked up and now he's playing well. Maitland, there was a bit of to and from, and you're seeing him put in 180 minutes of solid football in the 2 penultimate games in the FA Cup. His game management is, his man management is superb. I think tactically I'm seeing enough, We've still got problems defensively, but back 3, they're more switched on. There's no, listen, David Luiz, Mustafi, with all due respect, they'll always show their level and always show that you can't move forward with them as starters long term. But he's got Mustafi definitely in the best form of his life at Arsenal in the recent periods. There was an uptake in Luiz's form. Defensively, we've collectively looked a bit better. We're still facing a barrage of shots. Martinez and Len are up there for shots faced, but they're not up there for clean sheets, which shows we've got a long way to go as a defensive team or defending. But he's shown elements, like I said, man, he wants to get Arsenal back to the values of playing forward. He's shown me elements of counter-attacking football. I need to see more elements of us controlling games, especially games where we're not necessarily playing the top 6 sides and we're not expected to concede possession, but he's shown me, we can counter-attack to devastating effect. Give credit to Emre. Emre was the one who first started, the playing out from the back thing and put an emphasis on it, but Arteta's taken it to a new level. You go and look at the build-up for one of the goals, definitely against Watford. You go and look at against City. You go and look at the 2 against Chelsea. Well, In fact, yeah, the 2 against Chelsea, the build-up play is starting to get there. You know, there's been several incidences in games where you've seen double-figure passes leading to a goal, starting with our goalie, and a numerous amount of players are involved. You know, the Crystal Palace away one as well. I think Aubameyang finished it. Ozil was involved. Lacazette was involved, and things like that. Obviously, the young players, he's given faith to the young players, and there's a lot to praise Arteta about. Again, defensively, we have to improve, because ultimately the sword dies on him. We're still conceding cheap goals. We're still not keeping clean sheets. We're still making things harder for us. There's a lot of things, you know, and it'll be keen to see what he does next season. I actually want us to not necessarily play 3 at the back, because I'm a 4-3-3 man, but I want us to be able to do it when the time calls upon and do it perfectly. So the players obviously need to understand the system a bit better, improve defensively a bit better. By no means we've made a dramatic turnaround. Our standards just dropped very poorly. There's still a lot of room for improvement. But I mean, the only concern I can find of note with Arteta, and it is, you know, for me, it's just the substitutions. I think he takes a bit long with it, but 9 times out of 10, he's proven why he ain't taking the sub on and stuff. Apart from that, I've got nothing but praise for my manager. Like I said, we're still learning about him as much as we're learning about you know, the club right now, since a lot of people have left. We're still learning about Arteta. Next season's his first full season. We're going to find good and bad habits about him. He is going to make mistakes. I'm sure he would concede when he looks at the season again how he's made mistakes. But I think he's got enough. I think he's shown me enough to have confidence with, man. Like I said, the build-up plays is one thing I really like from him. I just want to see us, first and foremost, pass the ball forward a bit more, but be on the front foot a bit more. Beyond the obvious people of obviously needing to keep clean sheets and defend better and stuff. But I think, especially in midfield, when you're better on the ball, like City are a good defensive team. But I think what helps them as well, what helps top teams is when you're on... Listen, attack is a form of defence. If you've got the ball and you're doing the right things with the ball and you're dictating the tempo, that's less time for your opponent to try threaten you. That's not always going to be the game, but I do think we need to do that a bit more. And I'm looking at Arteta as well as defence to fix that, because you was a midfielder. You've played both roles in midfielder. And even more of interest to me is the role he more played at Arsenal, the more withdrawn role. So I want to see that. So next season, I'm kind of looking at a couple of things. I want to see Saka kind of nail down a fixated position. I'm not saying it's illegal to keep using him everywhere. He's shown he can play inside in midfield as well as the flanks and fullback, and to a degree I don't want to see that stop. Education is all education is good education, but I would like to see Saka potentially fixated. Midfield is, like I said, is a key thing for me, because Ceballos and Xhaka are playing well, but if we really scrutinise that partnership, you know, you don't really see them dictating the tempo of the game over a 38-game period. You don't really see that as the most stable defensively. You don't really see goals and assists in the midfield, and I don't think Arsenal's midfield offers enough. So that's, I'm not criticising, I'm saying the midfield is an area I'm looking at next season as well, beyond the obviously improving defensively to go with the midfield, like I said. Listen, Aubameyang is excelling on the flank, so I don't mind if we run it again, but I would like to see Aubameyang through the middle. I would like to see Martinelli play a bit more, and people, really and truly. They're the only things, really, and you know, you just want to see us improve, really and truly. There's not too much I want to see from Arteta that isn't the ordinary. Arsenal's an open book. We all know the evident issues that are with Arsenal at the moment, but he's shown me enough to believe in. And you know, look at his comments after the FA Cup final, people. I completely understood that the needs of this completely understood that the needs of this football club are so high, and I want to meet those demands. I know that there are expectations, and this is a trophy for them to enjoy, and for them to be proud of their club and their support and the players that they always cheer for. Hopefully they can enjoy it together. Maintain the distance, please. I want to enjoy it because it's all yours. Obviously a bit of the context is out of context with that. He said the most important thing for me was I only had one mission when I came here, and it was to make the players and staff believe that we could do it. We had to change that energy and that mentality. Just by seeing them in the dressing room all together, the way they enjoy their professionalism and their time together, it makes me more proud, and it's a consequence of that. And afterwards we can achieve things and win titles together. So again, if we get that siege mentality on point, if we work hard, if we remember the feelings of regret, because I did remember what it felt to finish 8th place, remember what it felt to lose all these stupid points when you go and look at our results over a 38-game period, and have fair and also what should drive you on unfair comments about who you are as a person. I'm speaking to Arsenal players. Use that to drive you on, and also use that feeling of victory with the FA Cup. You know, winning is contagious. Do you want to keep winning? Use both this positive and negative forces, to fuel your ambition for next season. When the going gets tough, remember the feeling of regret. That's what would drive me. I wouldn't want to be knowing that if I don't put in the work, I'm not going to be top 4. The papers, what are the papers going to say? What are this is going to say and the other? Use that, you know. Use the FA Cup and think, okay, if we won the FA Cup, what would it feel like to win it again? What would it feel like to reach our goal of getting top 4? I know it's not a trophy, but just a feeling of accomplishment. What would it feel like to actually win a Prem and Champions League, which we're a long way away from? But until the thinking is like this consistently, we that should be our ambition. Well, we're not going to get there, and to a degree, you know, this shows how much we've fallen off as a club, because all of the things, these should be a minimum. As much as I'm sitting there and praising them, there should be a minimum, you know, for what we want to do. It's that simple, you know. You look at Vieira, Henry, all these guys, passion for all their ability, passion, commitment, work ethic, you know, desire, hunger, you know, treating every game like it's their last, in the sense of they're not going to play again, behaving in every game like it's their first, you know, not wanting to relinquish their starting 11 shirt, you know. These are minimums, you know. They're not special, they're minimums. They're minimum requirements for anything you want to do, and we need to get back to that. But so far so good under Arteta, and Arteta alone, man. He's given me enough to believe in him, you know. We might, football changes, we might sit here and review it, you know. Nothing is set in stone. But I've got way more belief in Arteta than I did in Emre, regardless of the experience. Purely because, mainly for me, Arteta seems to have conviction and belief in his ideas, and he's fluid away from that. You know, he'll have his way of playing, and he'll chop and change a little bit when required, but it doesn't deviate too far. I don't want to keep bashing Emre because he's moved on and he's taken over at Villarreal. Good luck to him. But you know, he didn't strike me as having conviction in his ideas. So yeah, man, hopefully Arteta's brought in some decent individuals to work with and improve, because he can only do so much with this squad, as we have seen. But for now, nothing more to add. I'm going to get out of here. People, DG.